Welcome back to the grand finale of our incredible demolition journey, where we finally witness the ultimate rebirth of legendary aviation giants. This is episode 50, the final chapter of our massive series dedicated to dismantling the most iconic flying machines in human history. We have returned to the central crushing yard today to witness the spectacular conclusion of this long and grueling industrial transformation process. A brand new giant hydraulic press stands proudly in the middle of the yard, specifically installed to handle these incredibly tough materials. This monstrous machine possesses enough crushing force to effortlessly obliterate the thickest titanium frames and carbon fiber wings ever engineered by mankind. Before us lie shattered remnants of the legendary A380 passenger jet, once the undisputed king of the commercial blue skies above. Right next to it rests the heavy armored plating of a B-52 bomber, a formidable military giant now reduced to mere scraps. We also have the beautifully sleek supersonic titanium fragments from the iconic Concorde, reflecting the glorious history of rapid global air travel. Today, all these incredible historical fragments will be fed into the merciless, crushing jaws of our newly constructed industrial recycling beast together. I step inside the familiar cabin of my trusty veteran excavator, preparing myself mentally for this deeply emotional final demolition task today. This old machine has been my faithful companion through countless tough jobs, tearing apart massive steel structures with absolute brutal precision. I gently push the heavy hydraulic levers forward, feeling the familiar rumble of the powerful diesel engine vibrating beneath my boots. The massive steel tracks bite deeply into the muddy ground as we slowly advance toward the towering mountain of aviation scrap. Every single piece of twisted metal here tells a unique story of incredible engineering brilliance and thousands of hours in flight. We are not just destroying these magnificent machines today. We are carefully preparing them for an essential and beautiful industrial rebirth. The giant mechanical claw opens wide, its sharp steel teeth gleaming under the harsh morning sunlight as it approaches the debris. I carefully maneuver the heavy boom arm, targeting a massive section of reinforced aluminum fuselage from the legendary double-decker aircraft. The powerful claw clamps down hard on the thick metal, producing a loud screeching sound that echoes across the entire scrapyard. With a swift upward motion, the excavator effortlessly lifts the heavy fuselage section high into the dusty air above the yard. I slowly rotate the heavy cabin, aligning the massive swinging piece of scrap metal directly over the hungry jaws of destruction. The giant hydraulic press waits patiently below, its massive steel plates fully retracted and ready to consume the incoming aviation debris. I gently release the hydraulic pressure, allowing the heavy aluminum fragment to drop violently into the deep belly of the machine. The control room operator immediately engages the massive press, sending thousands of tons of hydraulic pressure directly into the trapped metal. We watch in absolute awe as the incredibly thick aviation-grade aluminum is effortlessly flattened like a fragile piece of paper. The terrifying sound of ripping metal fills the air, creating a brutal industrial symphony that celebrates the raw power of machinery. Next, I move my excavator toward the dark green military fragments, targeting a heavily reinforced wing section from the legendary bomber. This incredibly tough military-grade alloy was specifically designed to withstand extreme combat conditions and massive atmospheric pressures during intense flights. My veteran machine struggles slightly as the heavy steel teeth attempt to pierce through the incredibly thick and resilient armored plating. After a few intense seconds of struggling, the powerful hydraulic claw finally manages to secure a firm grip on the wing. I lift the heavy military fragment high above the ground, admiring its rugged construction before swinging it toward the waiting press. The bomber fragment falls into the massive crushing chamber, crashing loudly against the thick steel walls of the heavy industrial machine. once again, the relentless hydraulic plates close in slowly, applying unimaginable pressure to the stubborn military-grade alloy trapped deep inside. The heavy metal groans and screams under the immense pressure before finally surrendering and collapsing into a dense and compact block. Now it is time to process the incredibly rare and beautiful supersonic titanium fragments salvaged from the iconic and legendary Concorde. These sleek aerodynamic pieces represent the absolute pinnacle of 20th century aviation engineering, designed to safely cross oceans at supersonic speeds. I handle these precious fragments with extreme care, gently lifting the sharp titanium shards with the massive steel teeth of my machine. The bright sunlight catches the sleek metallic curves of the supersonic debris as it dangles gracefully above the dusty central yard. I carefully release the beautiful titanium pieces into the massive crushing machine, feeling a slight twinge of sadness in my heart. The giant press activates once more, effortlessly crushing the advanced supersonic alloys into small, unrecognizable blocks of highly valuable recycled material. The immense power of this newly installed crushing machine is truly magnificent, transforming massive aviation structures into perfectly neat metal cubes. Hour after hour, my trusty veteran excavator continues to feed the hungry beast, slowly reducing the massive mountain of aviation scrap. The intense physical work is deeply exhausting, but the profound sense of accomplishment keeps me focused on completing this final mission. Sweat pours down my face as I skillfully manipulate the heavy joysticks, maintaining a perfect rhythm between the excavator and press. The entire scrapyard vibrates intensely with the continuous rhythmic thumping of the massive hydraulic press crushing tons of heavy metal debris. We are rapidly approaching the very end of our massive stockpile, with only a few scattered pieces of twisted metal remaining. I scan the dusty ground carefully, looking for any forgotten fragments hiding beneath the thick layers of industrial dirt and grime. Suddenly, a small flash of bright color catches my eye, partially buried under a heavy pile of shredded aluminum and wires. I slowly drive my massive machine closer to the mysterious object, lowering the heavy steel boom for a much better look. Using the giant steel claw with extreme surgical precision, I gently brush away the heavy debris covering the brightly colored object. It is a beautifully preserved aviation badge, featuring the classic logo of a legendary airline that revolutionized global travel decades ago. This small but deeply significant piece of history is the absolute final fragment remaining in our massive 50-episode demolition journey. I carefully pinch the delicate metal badge between the massive steel teeth of my claw, ensuring it does not get damaged. The stark contrast between my giant rusted machine and this tiny, pristine emblem perfectly captures the profound essence of our work. I slowly lift the final beautiful fragment high into the golden afternoon sky, presenting it proudly to the entire scrapyard crew. Everyone stops their heavy machinery for a brief moment, silently acknowledging the massive historical significance of this beautiful tiny metal badge. I slowly swing the heavy excavator cabin around, aligning the precious final fragment directly over the gaping jaws of the press. Taking a deep breath, I gently open the giant steel claw, watching the small badge fall gracefully into the dark chamber. The massive hydraulic press hums loudly as it activates for the very last time today, closing its heavy steel plate slowly. The deafening sound of the final metal piece being violently crushed echoes loudly across the entire yard like a concluding symphony. It is a beautiful and brutal industrial melody that perfectly summarizes months of intense hard labor and incredible heavy machinery operation. The massive press slowly opens its heavy jaws, revealing a perfectly formed dense block of pure recycled aviation-grade metal alloy. A heavy forklift carefully removes the final metal block from the crushing chamber, transporting it toward a large open concrete area. Over the past few hours, dozens of perfectly compressed metal cubes have been carefully arranged in a very specific geometric pattern. I parked my trusty excavator and climbed down from the dusty cabin, eager to inspect the final results of our labor. Walking among the heavy, dense blocks of recycled metal, I can still clearly recognize tiny fragments of the original legendary aircraft. A piece of green military paint here, a shiny streak of supersonic titanium there, all perfectly fused together into solid blocks. The skilled scrapyard workers are using heavy forklifts to carefully position the very last few metal blocks into their designated spots. As the final heavy metal cube is lowered into place, the grand vision of our massive recycling project finally becomes clear. The heavy metal blocks have been meticulously arranged to form the magnificent shape of a giant airplane resting on the ground. This incredible metal sculpture is a beautiful and powerful tribute to the legendary flying machines we have dismantled over the series. It perfectly symbolizes the beautiful concept of industrial rebirth, where destroyed objects are magically transformed into entirely new and useful materials. I slowly walk around the massive metal airplane sculpture, deeply admiring the incredible craftsmanship and hard work of my dedicated team. The setting sun casts long, dramatic shadows across the heavy metal blocks, creating a truly breathtaking and cinematic industrial visual experience. We have successfully transformed thousands of tons of useless aviation scrap into highly valuable raw materials ready for their next life. These dense recycled blocks will eventually be melted down and used to manufacture brand new machines, continuing the endless industrial cycle. Perhaps some of this metal will even find its way back into the sky, flying high as part of future aircraft. Standing next to this magnificent recycled monument, I feel an overwhelming sense of profound pride in what we have achieved together. The incredible journey from the boundless open sky down to the muddy industrial ground is now officially and completely fully finished. This has been an absolutely wild and unforgettable adventure, filled with extreme challenges, dangerous moments, and incredibly beautiful heavy machinery action. From tearing off massive commercial wings to crushing dense military armor, we have truly witnessed the absolute limits of industrial destruction. I gently pat the rusted metal tracks of my veteran excavator, silently thanking the incredibly tough machine for its reliable service. This old beast has survived 50 grueling episodes of intense heavy labor without ever failing me during the most critical moments. As the sky turns a beautiful deep purple, the bright industrial floodlights of the central crushing yard slowly begin to illuminate. The massive towering machines cast long, intimidating shadows across the dusty ground, looking like giant sleeping metallic dinosaurs in the twilight. It is finally time to power down the massive hydraulic equipment and close the heavy steel gates of the yard tonight. I want to take this special moment to sincerely express my deepest gratitude to everyone who has followed this massive project. Your incredible support and boundless enthusiasm have constantly fueled our intense passion for this highly demanding and dangerous heavy industrial work. We have shared countless thrilling moments of pure mechanical destruction and discovered the hidden beauty inside these massive retired flying giants. The incredible process of completely dismantling these massive legendary machines has taught us profound lessons about advanced engineering and material science. I am Demolition Worker, and this magnificent journey from the boundless sky to the dusty ground has finally been successfully completed. Thank you so much for accompanying me through 50 incredible episodes filled with pure blood, heavy sweat, and massive steel. We have successfully conquered the most difficult industrial challenges together, proving that no massive structure is truly impossible to dismantle. The magnificent legacy of these legendary aircraft will forever live on inside the countless new products created from their recycled materials. Our dedicated team will now take a short, well-deserved rest before preparing for our next massive and exciting industrial adventure. We are already actively planning incredibly new and exciting heavy demolition projects that will absolutely blow your mind in the future. Get ready for even bigger machines, tougher materials, and much more spectacular destruction in our upcoming brand new heavy industrial series. Thank you for watching Demolition Worker. I will see you all again very soon in our next massive heavy demolition project.